Hello and welcome to The Navigator. Today, I'll be having a short conversation with the founders of the newly revived Girls on Fire, VIU's feminist club. A few years ago, we talked about what it takes to run a club at VIU. But the thing about student-run clubs is that their members eventually graduate. This means that club leadership has to pass the torch on to the upcoming members. Unfortunately, this doesn't always happen, and so some clubs go dormant. This is what happened with a lot of clubs over COVID, and it happened again more recently with the Girls on Fire club. So when I heard that this club was starting up again, I knew I had to help support and spread the word, because a club like this isn't just a locus for building community, it's an educational opportunity. So let's talk to the Girls on Fire about how they'll be spreading the word that their club is back on campus.
Welcome, Frankie and Becca, to the Navigator newsroom. We are in our nice little office space, so it's a little echoey in here. We got a little bit of background noise. We are here to talk about the Girls on Fire Club, the second edition of the Girls on Fire Club for VIU. And I welcome to the stage Frankie and Becca. Let's get to know your voices. Can you tell me who you are and what you're enrolled in at VIU?
Hi, I'm Frankie. I am enrolled in psychology. It's my first year, and I'm minoring in women and gender studies.
Oh, awesome. That's basically the same thing my girlfriend's doing.
That's really fun.
Yeah, do you know Amy Swanson from your classes at all?
Pink hair?
Yeah.
Yes, I do know Amy.
Cool.
Yeah, she's lovely.
Yeah, I know, right?
Not biased or anything.
And you're the VP?
I'm the VP, yes.
Cool. And Becca?
I'm Becca. I'm the president, and I'm studying criminology.
Congratulations on being the president. Criminology. How does that factor into your interests in like this part of the club, like being a feminist club?
My hope in the future is to become a victims advocate.
Interesting. Yes.
Yeah.
Powerful work. And what inspired you to get involved with Girls on Fire?
For me, it's something that's always been really close to home. I've always enjoyed being an advocate and speaking out for things that I notice. I was known as the resident feminist in my school, and so I think that that's super important for me to keep in my beliefs and in my systems.
And how about yourself?
I just come from a small town where everything was super hush-hush, and I kind of want to break out of that and make things more talkable.
What do you just say is the mission of Girls on Fire?
To make a safe space for all of us to come together and share our experiences and struggles both on and off campus.
For the people out there who might not understand why a feminist club like Girls on Fire exists at VIU, what factors into the need for this club?
I think it's more just to grow a larger community and make things less about it's still going to be about gender, but more about shared experiences that we can come together to be this is what I'm struggling with, or this is what I've been through. Can you guys help me out through it?
How do you feel that society is pushing for the need for this kind of club right now?
I think it's very important to have a club like this because it allows you to connect with other people. It allows you to find your people. We live in a world where we have a lot of access to things that are telling us that we're wrong all the time. So it's very, very nice to get into a community where you're talking with other people who feel the same way that you do about certain topics. And especially in a new school for a lot of new students, it's important to find people who you can talk about feminisms with and you don't have to argue about it.
It's that upper level conversation. It's it's not your job to educate people on the basics of this stuff, right?
It's a place to have conversations, but it's not necessarily going to be people arguing all the time and talking about things. It's not going to be necessarily a place for super deep philosophical questions. It's going to be mainly a place to uplift people's voices, share people's stories, and provide education for the other students.
Yeah, we're not here to hate on men. We're just here to give them resources and how best to support people going through similar things.
Speaking of that, how do you guys feel about allyship entering these spaces? If men who identify as feminists want to come to these kind of events and stuff?
I think it's very important.
Yeah?
Yeah, to have more than just our voices heard. The more voices, the better.
And listening too, right?
Yeah.
That's really what we want from a lot of men out there.
Yeah, it's so important. And it's nice to have feminists that have different perspectives and that share different perspectives and also can bring it to different communities and different groups that it normally wouldn't reach.
Yeah, spreading that message through, into slightly more insular groups.
Yeah, into the groups where we necessarily wouldn't be able to work our ways into, but, maybe that guy over there could.
Mm-hmm. If a student came into your club and didn't know a lot about feminism, right, doesn't know what they're going to be getting out of this club, right, they're like, okay, I kind of have an inkling, or maybe they've only heard about this club just now hearing this interview. Like, I feel like that kind of person may have some opinions that need some, that could be enlightened by some educational topics. Like,
we are open. We're open for everybody. And if you come into the club not knowing anything, if you're worried that you don't have the right opinions about everything, or even if you have an open mind but are still kind of tense about certain subjects, we're not here to judge you. We're not here to be like, oh, you have the wrong opinions, you need to leave, or oh, you have to be open to everything, you have to agree with everything. I mean, it would be amazing if everyone was open and agreed to everything all the time, but then we wouldn't really have much of anything.
That's exactly what I was looking for. Thank you for finding what I was trying to talk about.
Yeah, we're not here to judge. We're here to leave space for people to talk about things and educate others. And I think that's what the most important part about it is we're giving space for other people to educate each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and create a continuous conversation, too. Hopefully we can have some discovery here as well, right? Your club description, it welcomes people who identify as female or gender nonconforming. The previous Girls on Fire Club, which I think ended either a year ago or 2 years ago, sometime in the spring, their club description was slightly different, and it still says this on the VIUSU app, that it welcomes people who identify as female, which excludes gender nonconforming. Can you talk about why you made that change?
Yeah, well, it's still the old description on the VIUSU app because we're still working on getting that totally updated. And I believe that we made that change because it just reflects the society that we live in today is not a binary world. It's not black and white. It's important to include everybody.
I think their previous version definitely includes people who are transgender, particularly AFAB transgender people. And then your description specifically includes non-binary and people who are gender fluid, as well as a few other identities. There's a lot of them. So that part of the spectrum was sort of not intentionally excluded, I think. But I think we're seeing like a movement generally in feminism. It's intersectional feminism is the place we're at these days where we have this additional category. And it seems like feminist issues like this and like clubs like this are beginning to be more accepting and intentional about bringing people into these clubs with a variety of identities, right? What has been your experience of feminism so far and seeing that inclusion/exclusion of people who are within those identities?
I think that there's a lot of exclusion with people outside of the gender binary, especially currently. There's a lot of like trans exclusionary radical feminism going on, and I think that that's something that does not have a place here and does not deserve to have a place here. So that was an intentional choice to open that up because, yeah, feminism is an intersectional thing and it isn't just for women. Like, feminism is for everybody, and that's why our events are going to be open to everybody. They're going to be on campus. They're going to be available for everyone to go to. And if you feel comfortable going to a club called Girls on Fire, you're welcome to be there. You can be anything. It doesn't matter.
And so apart from the open invitation, what other community actions have you or will you be taking to include a range of identities?
We want to be able to provide access to events that are informative and are important to everybody. Events like a period party trivia night, which is going to be really fun.
Okay, tell me more about that.
So the period party trivia night will be a trivia night where everyone dresses up red and answers questions on the topic of periods and menstrual health.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very exciting.
What's that going to look like, do you think? Like, are you in the planning phases of this right now?
We're currently working on our outline, and we're working on more planning details. We do not have a prospective date yet, although when we do have it out, we will have it posted on the Instagram, on the VIU Students app. We will have it posted pretty much everywhere. We'll have some posters up as well.
Speaking of the Instagram, you guys have a new Instagram for the club, right?
Yes.
Probably some lost login info, I assume.
Yes. Our new Instagram is Girls on Fire, with fire spelled F-Y-R-E, because fire with F-I-R-E was taken.
Oof.
It was rough.
I also noticed while I was looking up that there is such thing as there's an organization called Girls on Fire. I don't think you guys are associated with that. It's a Taekwondo thing.
No, we are not.
Okay.
Wish we would. Maybe we'll do a collab.
Yeah, I know the previous club, they did some pole dancing classes.
Yes.
That is something we're really interested in doing, is either like pole dancing or like a heels class.
Mm-hmm.
A heels class.
Yeah, it's like jazz and hip hop, but you're wearing like super high heels, so you like feel super empowered in your body.
I have never worn heels, and I don't think they would do well on me. I have pretty good balance. I did some taekwondo, but I don't know that I could do heels and taekwondo.
I think this is your chance. I think we should try.
Yeah?
Taekwondo, jujitsu, karate, and heels.
Okay.
Stilettos.
Excellent. I mean, I would also be interested in, like, the jazz dancing. That sounds fun. I haven't done that before.
Yeah, me neither. It'll be something new for a lot of people.
Awesome. Your Instagram also mentions women's rights and destigmatizing sex. As a feminist club, what can you do to facilitate these kinds of conversations?
We can destigmatize conversations by actually just having the conversations in general, providing access to resources that people can use, and spreading the information to people that are not necessarily the usual directed target. And by that I mean, putting up posters on campus that are advocating for safer sex or sex education information. Because a lot of the people that do have a lot of that information, you have to actively seek it out. So to provide that at a level where people can just see it and know it is important.
Mm-hmm. So what's important to you specifically about Girls on Fire? Like, what keeps you passionate about this club?
I think it's just, like, especially, like, going on with, like, the politics in the States with, like, the women's rights being taken away. I feel like here is very much, if we keep the conversation going, then we're less likely to lose the topic.
And how can people get involved with Girls on Fire?
Well, you could join the club. You could come to a meeting. They're open for everyone. And I think the biggest thing would be coming to events. Yeah, show up for events. We're going to have a lot of fun ones. We're going to have some that are out on the campus. We're going to have some probably in the library.
Our first meeting is going to be on November 4th, that Monday.
At the time of recording, Becca and Frankie had yet to confirm the time and place of this meeting, but they have since announced that it will be taking place in Building 345, Room 106. That's the first floor of the Humanities Building, where, if you're a student, you probably took your first year English classes. The meeting starts at 4 p.m. Remember to check out their Instagram at girls.on.fyre. That's fire with a Y. That's all we have for today. I'm Jack Corfield, and thank you for listening. You've been listening to The Nav.